And welcome to the Movie Madhouse. I'm Rob.
I'm James.
I'm Jason.
And our buddy.
Ry Barrett.
There we go. So, Ry, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I mean, all things considered, right?
Well, yes, exactly.
Everything's with an asterisk, right?
Yeah.
2020.
We've entered into that area for who knows how long. Hopefully, not much longer.
Exactly. At least we can see a light at the end of the tunnel. We're just not sure how far.
Exactly.
Now, one of the cool things I definitely want to talk to you about, because you have a movie coming out on VOD tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's fast.
I got in here just in the nick of time.
Yes. Give us a quick synopsis of Still the Water.
So Still the Water is it's a film that was shot entirely on Prince Edward Island, and it's basically about the main character Geordie Macaulay is coming home after having left several years ago after a family tragedy, and he starts to reconnect with his family and all the people that he left behind and all of the damage that sort of he left in the wake of. And he comes back. He's a sort of a failed hockey NHL prospect, and he comes back and kind of jumps into the local hockey scene, which kind of stirs some problems with his brother, who's also kind of one of the local stars too, and kind of creates a little bit of a rift that's a new addition to all the family drama that's already there.
That pretty much sums it up, yes.
Beautiful looking movie too.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's gorgeously shot. It really is.
Yeah, Christopher Ball is he knows what he's doing, and he knew how to use the landscapes and the looks and everything. And we luckily captured a ton of gorgeous sunsets and sunrises and stuff while we were there. So it really plays on film.
What was it like getting on the ice? Because we've heard people talk about filming Goon and Mighty Ducks and stuff like that. You were on the ice a lot.
Yeah, it was rough. It was so at the time when I booked the role, so I had done actually auditions for it about a year before, and then they had done final casting and stuff, and then I didn't really hear anything back. So I figured they were going ahead with everything and stuff, and they had done casting, and then there was some sort of rescheduling and change and everything, and I got a call about 2 weeks before we were going to start shooting. So at the time, I hadn't been on skates in, I don't know, like 8 years or something like that. So I had because I have a knee injury, like there's a reason why I hadn't been and stuff. And so I had to kind of get myself back into shape as good as possibly as I could for hopping on the skates and the ice. And so I had about another 3 weeks after that, because we shot an initial few days, and then I came back, and then we went and shot the hockey stuff. It was the first 3 days of full shooting, and we were on the ice for about, I don't know, 8 to 12 hours, I think, for 3 days in a row. And I mean, generally just the guys who were hockey players who were there for different roles and background and stuff, they were hurting. So I had Advil I was popping, and yeah.
I was going to say, your feet must have been killing you, because I wear skates for an hour and my feet throb.
Yeah, it was rough. Like there were some scenes that we could do that were up close that we could actually wear shoes for, just to kind of capture a moment or something like that. But for the most part, we had our skates on, and then whenever you could take a break and get them off, you just pulled them off and walk around as much as you could to rest. But yeah, we were pretty hurting by the end of those days, but I think it paid off.
And where can people watch this tomorrow?
So as of tomorrow in Canada, it's on Amazon, Bell and Rogers, and Vimeo on demand, and iTunes. And I think that's where for Canada. For the States, it's also Amazon, and yeah, it's different platforms depending on where you are. But apparently, it's going up on 68 countries. It's live tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Very cool.
today we're going to hijack this feed then, because instead of
Yeah.
top 10 films, we're going to have the places you can find Still the Water.
Sweet.
Got to check it out, because that's kind of what spurred this topic, because it's a hockey film.
Yeah.
So Ry says, let's do top 10 sports films.
Sure.
And
I was
you know,
gonna, yeah, I mentioned hockey, but it's been done, right? So I kind of.
we actually did baseball. I thought we did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. We've only done baseball for specific sports so far.
Okay.
Yeah. So this way we can come back to hockey
Yeah.
and see how many are the same. But let's get into this list. And as always, we start with our guest, Ry. What's your number 10?
Number 10. Okay, so I'm going to preface this quickly too, just saying I kind of like focused on like more serious, dramatic kind of sports films. So I kind of left out all the comedy and more fantasy kind of layered elements stuff with a few little exceptions here and there. But so my number 10 is, and some might not consider it a sport, but I looked up to make sure that it actually is Color of Money, because pool is a sport.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scorsese's sequel to The Hustler.
I love that one, because that kind of came out of nowhere for me, film wise anyway, because
Mhm.
no one was expecting a sequel to The Hustler.
Yeah, no,
You know?
and it's completely different, but it's still, yeah, the character. It's just such a great continuation of that character that Paul Newman started with,
Yeah.
and I mean,
Fast Eddie, right?
What's that?
Fast Eddie, was that his name?
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I watched Color of Money, but I do recall, like, when it came out, I remember watching it quite a bit.
Yeah,
I was a fan.
It's a bit of, yeah, it's like a heavier. It's very. I mean, it's Scorsese, obviously gritty, super gritty, and Tom Cruise, man. Like, for anyone who doesn't think Tom Cruise is a good actor, like, just check him out in this. Like, he's done some great performances. This is one of them for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Good choice. Jason, number 10.
All right, my number 10, we're going to go to 1993 with Rudy. That movie gets me every time. I can still rewatch it and still get choked up during the ending there. I love that story. Sean Astin was great in it. I absolutely adore that movie.
It's a good one. And what is it? It's Charles Dutton, right? Who plays?
Yes.
Yeah, he's so good in it too.
He plays the groundskeeper or whatever that gives
Yeah.
him a job and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
With the you're 100 and nothing,
Yeah.
5 foot nothing.
classic. I need to watch that again. It's been a while, but it's a great film.
And see, that was one of those ones I watched. I didn't know who Charles Dutton was. And then Alien 3 comes out, and I really loved him in that one. So then I saw Rudy again. It's like, oh, yes, it's him.
Yeah,
He's one of those character actors.
Yeah.
And as I recall, a very early role for Jon Favreau in there too.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He played
And
his
Vince Vaughn.
And Vince Vaughn's in it too. I need
Yep.
to rewatch this.
Yeah, I don't remember Vince Vaughn. I remember Favreau.
I don't remember either of those two, so I might have to watch it more.
I remember Favreau because he was like his roommate friend that helped him, and he was kind of rich or something, or he got a good job afterwards. And
Yeah, because he did. I think Favreau was in like a couple of football movies around that. I think it was either, what was the other one? The Program, or I don't know if that was the one he was in, but he was in one other one too. But I recognize him.
He was in The Replacements.
Yes,
Is that it? Maybe that was it. Yeah.
That's the one. That was the one, because it almost made my list. It was my number 11 replacements.
That's a good one.
All right, James, what do you got?
I have my number 10 is sort of like a more modern version of Rudy. It's from 2016. It's called Greater. And it's a true story of football player Brandon Burlsworth, who was considered one of the greatest walk-ons in Arizona's college football history, who tragically died at the age of 22, right on the cusp of getting noticed or drafted by the NFL.
Oh, wow. I
Wow.
hadn't heard of this.
No.
I hadn't either until I had seen it just in a store like I usually do. It was used or something, and it was based on a true story, and I watched it, and yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of that either. I just wrote it down because I like anything I haven't heard of, I want to definitely check out.
Yeah, and if like the some of the supporting cast in, you've got Michael Parks, Neil McDonough, who was Dum Dum Dugan in Captain America: The First Avenger. You got Leslie Easterbrook from the Police Academy movies.
Me and Michael Parks.
Yeah. Can't go wrong with him.
Well, my number 10, same year, but it's an independent film. And I watched this originally because it was given to me. Buddy, we were out at a convention. Oh, I missed those. We were out at a convention, and he bought the movie. He said, here, you have to watch this. So I watched it, and then I loved it. And then I went to Thunder Bay and met one of the actors that was in it. And we became friends, and he started telling me some of these behind-the-scenes stuff. And I watched it again, and I love it even more. From 2016, Hello, Destroyer.
Oh, I've heard of this, but I've never seen it.
Oh, it's a great flick. Hockey is just on the edges, but it's about a AAA hockey player where he's grilled and he's trained to hit and move and keep going, and they get out into a game and he hits someone really hard. And I got to be honest, I can't remember if he is just really injured or actually dies. But it comes to the point where then the AAA turns their back on him. They expel him from the league and they start filing charges against him. It's a dark movie, but it is so good.
Hello, Destroyer.
Added that to the list.
Very, very good.
I feel like you might have brought that one up on here in some other form down the road.
I did because it was Jason Seelman that gave me the film.
Okay.
Right, but then Paul McGillian is in it, and he was the one that he and I chatted all about.
That's where I remember you talking about that movie.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. It's Paul's connection. Okay.
Yeah, because Paul loved doing the film, although he's got a dark character.
Yeah, I definitely remember hearing like festival chats and stuff, people talking about it.
And see, that's what Jason brought up with me. He goes, I've heard this in all sorts of festivals. Here, watch it.
Yeah.
And
I
sadly,
gotta
I
find
kept
that
it for 3 months before I did. Okay, so now on to number 9. Back to you, Ry.
Number 9. So this one's been stuck in my head. Rewatched this quite a few times because it just kind of keeps popping back up. It popped up when we were talking about Still the Water. I mean, me and Colin had chatted about it. We both loved it and had revisited it too. But Gavin O'Connor's Warrior.
Yeah.
It's just one of those movies. I find like when it first came out, I find it didn't get a lot of serious love because UFC movie and such and whatever. People didn't take MMA fighting quite as seriously. But if you watch the performances in it, and Nick Nolte too, that the father, it's just so good. Like by the time you get to the end, it's one of those. Usually, you're rooting for one specific person in a fight film, like Rocky or whatever. But this one, you get to the end and you just want to equally see both characters win. Like there's it's so intense.
That one made my honorable mentions list. I only watched it for the first time less than a year ago, and I absolutely adored it. Like Tom Hardy crushed it. Everybody was great in that film.
Yeah,
and you're right, Nick Nolte really. Like I feel like that's a very underrated role for Nick Nolte.
Yeah, they get very restrained for him, knowing how over the top he can go and like how powerful of an actor he is. But he's so subtle in it, and he's so. Him and Tom Hardy, their scenes together are just heartbreaking because he just wants a little bit, like he's trying so hard, but he won't give it to him, kind of thing. And it's so good.
Even Ryan says realistic MMA fights, nothing cheesy.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's one for the books.
Well done, Jason. Number 9.
All right, my number 9. I've watched this movie probably too many times. It's also one of my wife's favorites, hence why I have watched it so many times. From 1992, The Cutting Edge.
Oh yeah.
Toe pick. I forgot about that film.
Toe
pick.
It's just so fun, and they had such great chemistry together. D.B. Sweeney and Maura Kelly, they were fantastic together.
Absolutely.
And we revisited it within the last year, And that moment when they finally do the big move, like I still get a little bit of goosebumps, you know.
It's a good. I think I saw that. I think me and some friends rented that with one of the Mighty Ducks movies at like a sleepover or something like that, and we loved it too. We're like some of our friends were like, "Oh no, it's a girly, it's a rom-com." We're like, "This is actually really good." Like, and it's legit good.
It blends the rom-com.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it definitely has a little bit of silliness in there, but then you get that to the training montage and all that stuff, you know.
Yeah, it's solid.
I can't believe that. Jeez. Thanks, Jason.
It happens to all of us, you know that.
Exactly. James, number 9.
All right. For the most part, I'm with Ry on the keeping out a lot of the sports comedies and stuff, but I can't leave out this one, seeing as it's one of my all-time favorite basketball movies from 1992, White Man Can't Jump.
Dude, that's my number 9.
Yes.
That one's on my honorable mentions.
It just went on my honorable mentions for some reason. I didn't even come across that. Like when I was skimming through stuff, I was like, oh yeah, and I was like, there's other, like I was looking at Hoosiers, like that's a great basketball, but I haven't seen it in so long that I can't really rate it. But
oh, yeah.
That's classic.
Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes, those guys, and Rosie Perez.
Oh
yeah. Yeah, that my wife and I saw that one in the theater. And what was interesting when we went to see it, somebody called in a bomb threat 20 minutes into the film.
Oh no!
So they piled everyone out into the lobby, made us wait about a half hour, and then said, "Okay, we're going to restart. We're going to continue the film. You can go back in if you want, or we'll give you a voucher to come back." The theater was packed to the gills. We were like nosebleed front row, like craning our necks to watch it. We go back in after the bomb threat, and we had like the best seats in the house. It was awesome.
Nice.
Well, that movie,
not the bomb threat, but like the rest of it.
But Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson had such a great rapport. They did how many movies together? I think they did like 3 or 4 movies together. They
did at least 2. There was White Man Can't Jump and there was Money Train. Woody did Play It to the Bone with Antonio Banderas. It was the same director, all 3 movies. Mm-hmm. Wesley Snipes has a cameo as someone in the audience at one of the boxing shows, but after those 3, I'm not sure if there was just those 2 out front in a comedy movie. But
I feel like there's one more that might be missing. But yeah, they had a great chemistry, and you could see it.
Well,
just so quotable. The movie's so quotable. It's just hard goddamn work for another man, make another man look so bad.
God, I haven't seen that in a while, too, man.
That's what Ryan Haskell said. I remember doing all the Snipes chirps in high school.
Oh yeah.
White man can't hear Jimmy. You can't hear Jimmy. And then they're looking at at Jimi Hendrix band, and the whole band's white.
Oh man. Okay. On to number 8. Ry, what do you got?
All right, number 8. I have a feeling this might be on some other lists too. This one's a pretty big favorite, especially for football lovers. Remember the Titans.
Nice.
I can't pronounce that director's name. Boaz Yakin, I think it is.
I think that's the closest anyone's going to get. Yeah, Boaz. I think Boaz or Bose. I think you'd have to ask him.
Yeah, I don't have him on speed dial right now, but yeah, I mean, just another great. I think this is actually Disney. Was it a Disney production?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it was, and I think it's like one of their best because it's just so. It's realistic. It deals with like cultural issues, but then it doesn't get too caught up in that. But it also just because it kind of has a bit of a crushing ending too that you don't really expect coming from. I mean, Disney sometimes goes there, but not in the way that they did with this.
And it's the first time I actually watched Ryan Hurst.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
He becomes Opie, you know.
Yeah, he's great in it.
Yeah, I didn't include it anywhere on my list only because I can't revisit that movie. It hits me too hard. It is so darn good that it hits me too hard. So for that reason, I left it off my list.
See, it's weird for me with that because certain films like Casualties of War, I adore that film. It's so like heart-wrenching and just horrible, but I can watch it over and over again because of the performances. But movies like Mississippi Burning really bug me. Mm-hmm. You know, Ghosts of Mississippi, stuff like that. I have a hard time rewatching. and I don't understand the difference.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, yeah, sometimes you'll go back and revisit something like that. That just sometimes you just want to get the feels. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to get something out or whatever. And if you can mix it with a good sports movie, I mean,
There was one,
that's my go-to.
Summersby. That's what it was. Richard Gere and Jodie Foster.
Oh, that's a great movie.
That's a little tearjerker right at the end, and I would go back and watch it just to see if I would still cry at the end.
See, that's a question I never have to answer. Any movie that made me cry once is probably going to do it again. I know this.
All right, Jason, number 8.
All right, number 8. Now, unfortunately, I don't follow the same rule regarding the comedy stuff. I got a couple on my list here, and I would be doing myself an injustice if I did not include 2005's remake of The Longest Yard. Okay,
Nice.
The movie makes me laugh from beginning to end. I've talked about it many times on here. Kevin Nash steals that movie for me, but everybody's fantastic. And that's another quotable one. And
My number 2.
really,
Yep.
wow.
Oh,
I
wow.
need to revisit that too, man.
My list,
I saw that in the drive-in. It was I loved it. Yeah, but I haven't seen it I think since I saw it the first time.
as I do my list,
Cheeseburger Eddie.
right? But as I do my list, it's how many times I watch a film. The more I watch it, the higher it ranks.
That's where most of these movies are for me, with one notable exception that I'll get to later. But that all these movies are movies that, for the most part, I rewatch at least once a year, if not more. The Longest Yard was on steady rotation in my life for quite a while. I've had to slow it down.
It's weird. It's an Adam Sandler movie, but it doesn't have the kindergarten humor.
Yep, exactly.
It's really weird. Just a second. Someone's commenting that I just want to see. There we go. Longest Yard, both versions, and UK Mean Machine are all great.
Yeah, Mean Machine.
I've never seen The Mean Machine, but
So
the
funny.
original Longest Yard is really great too. But
Mean
it
Machine
gets
is
a little bit
this-
more dramatic.
Yeah, Mean Machine follows the same story. It's just soccer.
Okay.
There we go. All right, James, what's your number 8?
Okay. First thing I want to say, I still have another comedy. I forgot. I have another comedy on my list, but it's higher up. My number 8 is another based on a true story one. It's from 2005. It was the second pairing of Ron Howard and Russell Crowe. It is Cinderella Man.
Oh, great movie.
I forgot about
About, what was his name? James J. Braddock, the boxer.
Boxer. Yes. I forgot all about that.
That's one I never did watch.
I've still only ever seen this once or twice. I saw it with my buddy Bevan in the theater, and I've owned the movie for years, but it was just one of those, I know I love the movie. I'm going to watch it again sometime. I just haven't watched it because I know I love it.
Yeah, same here. I think I've seen it twice, I think, but it is one of those films that just sticks. When you finish it, you're just like, that's amazing. That's a great film. And like the fact that his character is just he's doing it for all the right reasons. He's just trying to like feed his family basically. And then you just fall in love with the characters in it.
Yeah, and he's also going against a legendary boxer who has nearly killed 2 people.
Yeah.
Jeez.
No pressure.
You don't want to go into that.
Well, because I remember it. It's either Paul Giamatti or what? No, it's one of the other guys in the movie. It's like, I want you to know what you're up against. I'm warning you sincerely. It's like, this guy has punched people so hard that their brainstem has detached from the. It's like, oh man,
Tyson?
Not what you want to hear, right?
Yeah, now I want to rewatch that one. Well, I'm going into boxing too here with 2015. I only watched this actually for the writer. Because Sons of Anarchy, I was a big Kurt Sutter fan, and he wrote this. And I thought, okay, I'll watch it because I didn't find it appealing. Otherwise, I'm not a big Jake Gyllenhaal fan.
Oh yeah,
Southpaw was incredible.
So good.
Yeah, it was like Rocky with a bit more grit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's another. There's so many great boxing films. Like somehow boxing and film just just work. Like,
I think it's because of the show. You know, it's center stage. Everybody's watching. So that's what filming is. You center stage and you cameras watching.
Mm-hmm.
It's built for it.
Yeah, very, very much.
Yeah, I'm going to watch that one again tonight. All right. Number 7. Ry, what do you got?
Number 7, right? I have, so this is 1984. One of the main, I love Robert Redford and I love baseball movies. And I saw this when I was pretty young for the first time. I was probably about 6 or 7, I think. And I've revisited a lot. The more you see it, the more you realize how beautiful the cinematography is in it. Like, it's the Natural from Barry Levinson. And you can just tell that he comes from the school of cinematography because it's just shot so well.
Absolutely. That one almost made my list. I just sadly only watch it once in a blue moon. But when I watch it, it's for that same reason. It's just vivid.
Yeah.
You know?
And I this is where there's a couple little spots where I kind of broke off into, like, there's a bit of a fantasy element to this one. And there is I have a couple of choices that have a little bit of fantasy and some comedy. I mean, you can't not have some comedy in some of these choices. So this is my first one that I kind of like broke off a little bit there. And
still a very good choice. Very good. Jason, number 7.
Number 7 for me is my first of 3 baseball movies. As I said, my top 3 baseball movies are in this list. So 1992's A League of Their Own.
I still haven't seen that.
Oh,
it's so good.
I have it no less than 3 or 4 people telling me I need to watch it.
I just revisited it like a month ago, I think. It's so good. I keep forgetting, how did I miss all of these from my list? I didn't even think. I don't know what list I was looking at.
When I did my research for it, I thought up a couple off the top of my head. It's like, okay, I like this one. And then I just did a general search.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones I thought of didn't appear anywhere.
Yeah.
These searches.
Well, I did what Jason did. There was a few from my top 10 baseball movies that had to be on this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but A League of Their Own, like, okay, Penny Marshall has an eye to really draw your attention in the right direction at certain things. So she didn't overstep on any specific topic. The women were treated poorly, but still they were accepted. They earned their way there. The casting, the entire cast was great. Yeah, of course, Tom Hanks was fantastic. Gina Davis, Lori Petty, Madonna, Rosie O'Donnell. They were all great.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Was Hanks nominated for that one for supporting?
I want to say yes, but I could be wrong. But I think so.
Because he's so good.
And there is no crying in baseball. That's right. That's an iconic line. Absolutely. And then there's the little kid, you're gonna lose. Stillwell Angel, that's his name.
Yeah, Gina Davis and Lori Petty are both ridiculously good in it too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were so good together.
Oh, it looks like they pulled that thing from IMDb. There used to be a category set awards, and I don't see it on here anymore.
Oh.
Darn it. Yeah, so much for that. Greg, this one, James, this one's for you from Greg. Moneyball better make this list, James, or you lose your movie knowledge card.
It's there. It's there.
All right, James, number 7.
My number 7 is a football movie, but it's more of a behind-the-scenes football movie. It's from 2014. It's Draft Day.
It's a good one. Like Kevin Costner, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin Costner. Yeah. Kevin Costner and Jennifer Garner. I watch this one every once in a while. Just the whole process behind all the teams making their trades and picks between each other before they even go up on stage.
Yeah, it's very cool for that too. Like I kind of place it with Moneyball too. Like it's very interesting to see the behind the scenes workings of how these things happen and how it all comes together. And
yeah, especially since he is possibly about to lose his job and he's making all these trades. He's like, you can fire me after.
Yeah.
Good choice. My number 7 is 2008, and it was one of those films that kind of shed a light on a whole new sport. Nick Nolte, or not Nick Nolte, sorry, Mickey Rourke, kind of blew up with the wrestling.
Oh,
Yeah, rightfully so.
I did not include it only because of that. That is it a sport? You know, it's
course it's a
athleticism,
sport.
hands down. It is
well,
athleticism.
they call it sports entertainment.
Right?
James, don't make me angry tonight, please.
What? This is what the WWE guys say. It's sports entertainment.
Right, and WWE, no.
But then there's also like Olympic
Now-
wrestlers and stuff too,
Yeah.
right? So it's like there's a bunch of
Ooh,
different layers to
I'm-
it, right?
yes. I might make a substitution on here.
Oh nope, you can't do that.
Well, I haven't said a movie yet, so
No, I guess that's true. All right, let's get to number 6. We'll bypass the wrestling one. Ry, what do you got for number 6?
Number 6, this one's pretty obvious, but I just had to put it on here because I'm a Scorsese geek, and another boxing movie, Raging Bull. I don't know if anyone else has that on there too, but
It made my honorable mentions only because I haven't gone back to it.
haven't seen it. Haven't seen it yet.
oh, you got to check it out, man. It's the thing is, it's such a like. Even today, when you go and watch the camera work and everything, just the way that it's all set up, once they step into the ring, it turns into this like such a cinematic event. Like it's hard to describe. Just but you know how Scorsese is with his quick punches and pans and everything, and it's and De Niro is just unreal.
Oh, that movie. And Joe Pesci.
Pesci, yeah, obviously.
Jeez, yes. Greg said Draft Day was good. I strictly agree with that pick, James. My influence runs.
Yes, it does.
I love how Greg likes to take credit for your.
No. He gets credit for Draft Day. He watched it before me and recommended it.
Okay.
Oh, okay. But he also said The Wrestler was great, so I'll take it too.
The wrestler is very good.
I'm currently in scouring the internet trying to get my hands on a copy of a Japanese version of The Wrestler. It's called Ricky Dozin, who is a legend from Japanese wrestling who came to North America and made his way. And he's kind of arguably considered a forefather for current day Japanese wrestling. There is they put it on par with The Wrestler in quality and whatnot, but it's really, really hard to find. So I'm trying to find a copy somewhere.
What's that one called?
Ricky Dozin.
Ricky Dozin.
RIKIDOZAN.
I'm gonna look for that too.
It's hard to find. It must not have gotten any sort of North American release. So
Right.
I'm not sure where I'm going to end up digging that.
So is that your number 6?
No.
Oh,
No. Now, just so you know, no, Tom Hanks did not get any nominations for A League of Their Own.
Oh, really?
None. So my number 6 is cheating. A little bit of cheating here because I can't pick just one. So I just said the Rocky series.
Fair.
You can't make me choose one out of the bunch. I know I would personally eliminate 5, but that's just me.
I was just gonna say that includes 5.
But how can you pick just one Rocky movie? Honestly,
Rocky
Very-
Balboa, done.
I can see your point, absolutely, but you don't get there without all of the other stuff. So, yeah, I don't think I really need to say much more. It's
That's
Rocky.
fair.
Come on.
Well, you just say the Rocky series minus number 5.
There we go.
Done.
There we go.
But you do that a lot, Jason. You pick franchises.
Because you're asking me to pick my favorite child. And just because I have one doesn't mean I have to say it out loud.
Fair enough.
There's no one around to hear me anyways.
Number 6.
Okay, this is the quick substitution I made. This is from 1985. It involves high school wrestling, which I can relate to. I was a high school wrestler for a bit. This is Vision Quest.
Oh yeah.
Vision Quest.
The eternal Matthew Modine and Linda Ferrantino.
Yes.
I've seen that, but it's been a long time.
what is
we
it?
need to
Madonna,
revisit
Crazy
that.
for You is
And
from
it was the one that spawned the Madonna hit "Crazy for You." That
something like I just said. Yes.
I honestly never did watch that movie. I remember when it came out, but no, it just didn't draw my attention back in the day, and it's not one I'm going to search out now. It's just nah.
I can honestly say I've watched it twice, and I know I want to watch it again. I just don't seem to find the right time. You know, when I have time to watch something, something else comes up. Oh, I like that better. I'll watch that now. No, but it's a good movie. It is good. Number 6 for me. This is from 2004, and again, I'm positive it's a sport, even though you only usually play it in school. And I am not picking this only because a buddy of mine's in it. So, but Dodgeball, 2004.
On my honorable mentions. It's an honorable mention.
Classic.
I knew it would be on someone's list. I nearly put the movie that gave me my Toodles exit from all the podcasts, Balls of Fury.
Okay. But see, Dodgeball, you can't make a serious film about dodgeball.
No.
Okay.
No.
It'd be tough.
Or it'd be like if they tried to make an Oscar bait movie about kickball.
Right. No, I gotta.
How much you want to bet that's going to be Best Picture nominee next year?
Kickball?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, Ben Stiller should be cast in it too, because like he deserves a special mention for his mustache in Dodgeball.
Right.
Yeah.
Dodgeball is best sports comedy. Almost. I have
I've
watched a little higher.
I've watched Dodgeball a lot again, but it's one that my wife randomly started watching. So now whenever it's on, my wife will watch it.
Yep.
It freaks me out because that's not her general kind of movie to go to.
You can dodge a wrench, dodge a ball.
Funny trivia. For the year Dodgeball came out, I went out on Halloween dressed as the girl with the unibrow.
Okay.
And the hair. I went out as her.
Fran Villaskovich or something,
Yeah,
whatever.
It was a hit.
You got to give props to the makeup team for her, that look on her, because that did not look like the actress at all.
No.
She's stunning when she looks like normal.
She's not playing dodgeball. All right, Ry, number 5.
Number 5. Yeah, this one's probably a little obvious too, and I kind of started my list, so I'm going back. Is The Hustler with Paul Newman from '61. It's just I don't know. It's another one of those slow burn. The way that it's shot, same thing. I love watching when the sports is just. I don't know, the way when like a really good storyteller like kind of amps up the intensity and like just really creates a great character. I just absolutely love that. And if you've seen this film, the end, he gets into some shit and he has to basically play this like epic marathon of pool at the end that is extremely high stakes.
He's playing against Minnesota Fats, isn't he?
Yeah, and it's just so intense, and who thought pool could be intense, kind of thing, right? So. That's why that's there.
See,
I've owned that one for years, and I still have to get around to watching.
Dude, that the 60s, the 70s, and early 80s, they had a whole different style of editing. You know, in the 80s, they got into the action and the fast paced, and that's kind of where we got to our editing today. But they had that nice slow burn editing style. Like almost everything you watch during that period is that slow burn, and it's done right. It's amazing.
It is.
In which in this film it is done right.
Yeah.
All right, Jason, what's your number 5?
My number 5 from 1996, Tin Cup. Kevin Costner as the aging golf pro who decides to go for one more round, and just that movie makes me chuckle. Rene Russo as the female lead officer, as the psychiatrist. Cheech Marin as his best friend and his coach.
Don Johnson as the foil, the pro.
Yep. When
What a
they
good
have their
catch.
little challenge, who can hit the ball farther?
Oh God.
And Don Johnson turns and hits it down the road.
Oh.
I got to rewatch that.
So smug.
I started golfing in the midst of lockdown like last September, and I feel like I will, like, because I always enjoyed it, but I feel like I'll appreciate it so much more after.
Once you get back into a sport and then
Yeah.
get back, yes.
That is probably my second favorite Kevin Costner movie.
Wow.
Okay. What's number one?
You'll see. You should already know.
It might be on my list.
Now I do.
Oh.
Number 5.
My number 5 is another sort of football movie, but not focused on the actual player. Well, no, sorry. It's 2015's Concussion.
Okay.
The Will Smith.
Oh, yes.
Will Smith, the doctor who discovers the sort of the cause behind all these NFL players that are kind of going crazy, losing their minds, and it's because their brain has just sort of been like compressed and rewired and is just driving them insane from all the shots to the head.
I haven't seen
And
that
it's
yet. I need to watch that.
It is so incredibly intense. It is so good.
I gotta admit, I haven't seen it yet either. I've been meaning to. It's another one of those, you know.
And it's also very, very, I don't want to say disturbing, but it's very depressing, sad on like some of them, because there's David Morse. David Morse portrays one of the characters in the movie, one of the real life guys who had actually pulled his teeth out and super glued them back in. And you see him in a truck because he's sort of living on the street. He's living in his truck, and you see him. He pulls down his pants and he takes a taser and he actually shocks himself because at that point in his life, because of the pain he was suffering and stuff, he wasn't able to fall asleep. So he had to taser himself so that he could be unconscious for a little while. The shit going on in his head was so bad.
Wow.
I'll watch it.
Yeah, the movie.
Yeah, I got to check that out.
It's intense.
And I like Will Smith too. Like Will Smith can act, you know.
Oh yes.
So
What? No, he's a hack.
yeah, he's a fad.
It won't make you like the NFL as an organization that much, but
Well, for my number 5, I don't mind picking my favorite child, although it was tough between this one and the other one. But Rocky 3 is my number 5.
All right.
Yeah, Clubber Lang.
Yes, Rocky 4 is good, but Rocky 3, I watch more. You know,
Sure. You watched it just for Hogan's appearance, right?
Burgess Meredith, 100%.
Really?
Oh, he's so good.
I thought you were a Hulkamaniac and you just
Yeah,
wanted to watch it
Rock.
for the Thunder Lip scene.
Do I look like a Hulkamaniac? Can't
I
believe
thought it was gonna be No Holds Barred.
that one. Darn it.
No. Mr. Nanny would be ahead of No Holds Barred.
That's a good one too. What about Suburban Commando though? There's
Oh,
I guess-
yeah.
That's number 3.
Santa with muscles.
There we go. Top 10 Hulk Hogan movies.
there you go. There's a good list.
Oh,
All right, number 4, Ry, what do you got?
Number 4, this one might be the Kevin Costner one that might be on someone else's list here, but Field of Dreams. It's just, I don't know. I think it's a perfect movie. It's and I'm kind of breaking my rule again too, because this obviously involves a fantasy element and there's some comedy in it too, but it's just so good. It's just so entertaining, so heartfelt, and just such an original idea too. I think it was based off a book.
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
And it's always
Yeah.
so good when something is so culturally, immersed that you say one line and everybody gets it. If you
Yeah.
build it, they will come. You know,
Exactly. It's just I don't know. I just find it so iconic and such a legendary baseball movie that it just gets the why people love baseball. Like it just gets it.
Absolutely. That's not mine. That is not
No,
the one.
no. Oh, I thought for
That's-
sure that might have been
That's
it.
not the one. That is
Oh,
a
there's
great
another
one.
good one though.
But
Yeah.
all right, Jason, number 4.
My number 4 is my number 2 of my baseball movies, 1993's The Sandlot. Yeah, just childhood fun there. And all that, the innocence, the way they build the tension with trying to get the ball back and everything.
You killing me, Smalls.
That you talk about iconic lines,
Yeah.
And it's just yes, and the way they made the Beast out to be a beast, and he's just a normal dog.
Yeah.
Who can inhale a baseball?
Isn't it like it looks like a kaiju jumping out from
At one
the
point,
fence?
yes. At one point, yep. And Field of Dreams connection. There's James Earl Jones again.
All right, yeah.
So, yep, that's my Sandlot is my number 4.
Well done. All right, James, number 4.
My number 4 is my number 1 baseball movie, at least to the best of my recollection is 2011's Moneyball. There you go, Greg. It's in my top 5.
That's another good one.
I've not watched that.
Oh, it is really good.
It's because of the poster.
Yeah.
The poster messes me up because Brad Pitt sitting on that, I don't know if he's sitting on a car or not, it looks like a still from the JFK assassination. I can't disassociate the two. I don't know why.
Well, look at the other poster where it's a big baseball field and he's just walking across it.
But I never see the other poster. That's just
Well, look for it.
It's funny too because like on paper it kind of sounds like it might be boring, but it's not at all. And it's really
It is so it's Aaron Sorkin. Aaron Sorkin wrote it. It is so well written. Jonah Hill, I think, got an Oscar nomination for it. I think.
I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah. Did he win? He might have won.
No.
Maybe not.
No.
Right?
I wish.
Him and Pitt are both. Brad Pitt's great in it too. He's
There
like
it
so
is.
subtle, but he's amazing.
Look at that.
And the late Philip Seymour Hoffman. Yeah.
It looks like a Secret Service on the back of Kenny's card. That's what that poster looks like. Okay.
I don't see it.
You're reaching, Rob.
I think you're just too infatuated with the JFK movie.
That's probably what it is. Yeah, I have a little obsession there. My number 4 is definitely a sports movie, although it is a fabricated sport. And this is where I think one of the funniest sports comedies is 1998's Basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
So good.
Which became an actual sports game after the movie.
No, it was one before. They played that at home.
That's right.
You know,
Yeah,
but they started up leagues, I think, while the movie was coming out.
Yep.
Yeah, like it's such a realized and thought out sport that it's like when you're watching, you're just like, this is a real sport. Like,
It's,
Yeah, but try to figure out their whole division map.
and how they get
Awesome.
the sponsorship drives me crazy too.
But Jenny McCarthy was really funny in that movie.
Oh my God, she was so good.
she was, yeah.
Yeah.
I rewatched that. I guess it was about a year ago now, I think. But it's just it doesn't get any like it's still funny as hell.
Yeah.
Like it's great. Love those
It showed
guys.
up on Netflix, and I think I watched it 3 weeks. About 6 times in 3 weeks. Okay, number 3, Ry.
Number 3. Okay, yeah. So here's where I kind of broke my own rule again here too. But it's just like it's the third Paul Newman movie that I have on here, and it's hockey related. It's Still the Water, so I had to put in Slapshot. It's just it's like you just got to put in Slapshot.
I wanted to, because I as I think about it, I do love that movie, but I have not actually rewatched it in a very long time. So that's why I couldn't put it on my list. But I know it's a great movie.
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna love that movie when I do rewatch it.
I found because I watched it when I was a kid and I enjoyed it and everything, and it's funny how violent it is and what the whole the storyline and everything like that. But just it's funnier the older you are, I think, or not necessarily.
Old time hockey.
But yeah, looking back at it, it's just I don't know, man. It's hilarious. It's so funny, and it's still fun, just as funny, and it's shot really well too. And there's some really good little gems of knowledge wrapped all up in it too. I know it's just such a great movie.
Bear with me 1 second. I just saw my buddy Chris posted an IMDb link.
I saw that too, and I'm trying to get it to come up, but I can't seem to find it.
Oh, there it is. Oh, and it's not a link. Dang it.
It's not a link?
No.
Because I can't see it.
Well, just tell us what the movie is.
I think he's taunting me with that poster. I think that's honestly what he's doing.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's my guess. Okay, so, and see, Slapshot I did want to put on there too. Oh, he just told me it's Rollerball.
Oh,
And
Rollerball.
that is a good one too. A sport that's not really a sport.
Yeah.
another created one. Yeah, that's another classic too.
As cheesy as it is, I do like the remake of Rollerball as well. I know it's cheesy and all, but I do like that.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun remake.
That's your number 3, isn't it?
It's fun. It's good. It's good, and I totally don't watch it to see Rebecca Romaine make it. No, not at all.
Is she in that?
I forgot she was in it.
All right, Jason, number 3.
My number 3. This is kind of a telltale sign, I think, here. If when you see these next couple, if we ever do football and baseball or football and hockey movies, you're going to know what my number 1s are. My number 3 is for 1993, The Program.
Oh, nice.
There is something about that movie that just draws me in over and over again.
The edited scene.
The which?
Yeah.
The edited scene.
Where they're all lined up, laying in the middle of the road.
Oh yeah.
They cut that from the movie after some students tried that.
I don't even know what you're talking about, honestly.
It was in the trailer. You don't.
That's right.
I
You don't remember seeing the trailer, Jason?
No. I haven't seen the trailer since the movie came out, and I don't remember that. And I watched that movie probably 100 times.
Well, it's not in the movie.
Yeah, that's
It's not in the.
That's why I don't know what you're talking about.
exactly. Good choice, though. That is.
I remember
You
that
should-
being like, it was like a controversial thing that they.
Yeah.
You should
Something happened
bring up the
with that.
trailer after the show, Rob.
I'll look for it after. It's all right. It's good. But there's just something.
That's a great flick, though.
I love that, and particularly, and I can never remember the guy's name, Latimer, the one who's taking the steroids and everything, and he
The blonde,
Yeah,
the guy with
it's-
the blonde
Yeah.
brush cut? Yeah.
yes,
It's Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw remake.
Oh, he played
Andrew Bryniarski. Yeah.
Bernarski. That's his last name.
Was he in? What was he in Aliens, or he played like a Marine and something too? I just remember seeing him a lot in like 80s action, 80s and 90s action.
He was Butterfinger in Hudson Hawk.
Oh, maybe it's Starship Troopers. Is he in that?
No, he wasn't in that one.
No.
The only other thing I've seen him in, I saw him in a YouTube film that I've only seen on YouTube. He played Lobo in the Lobo Paramilitary Christmas Special.
Okay.
Oh, he was in Firefly. He's in the yes.
He's in one episode of Firefly.
He gets sucked
I
into the road blades.
I haven't pictured from something specific. I just can't think of what it is. But yeah, he was good.
Yeah, there's just that movie. I don't know why, because I'm not a sports guy. I am not a jock by any means. But for some reason, The Program just stuck with me. Still to this day.
I need to rewatch that one. That was good.
I like the one guy. Yeah, now I'm so and so tailback. I'm so and so starting tailback.
Yeah. A young Omar Epps in that one.
Yeah,
Right.
Craig Sheffer.
Yep.
He was the lead, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Craig Sheffer was the lead, and Christy Swanson.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Buffy.
right.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer was the female lead.
James Caan.
Yep, and Halle Berry.
Halle Berry too. Wow, what a crazy cast.
Yes. Yeah. Wow.
See, that's fun sometimes, is to go back in the 90s films and look at casts and calculate how much it would cost today.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's another one with Remember the Titans too. If you rewatch, there's a lot of the players in that they went on to some big things.
Yes. I think one of my favorites to do that with is True Romance. Just because that cast is so stacked, you know.
Loaded.
James, number 3.
I was like, I'm gonna start quoting True Romance again. You bring it up.
Fit it in here somehow.
Okay, my number 3 is from 1998. It's another true story about Steve Prefontaine and long distance running. It is Without Limits.
Oh, that's a great film.
Yes, this one you got.
Don't know that one.
Got Billy Crudup, Donald Sutherland, Monica Potter, Matthew Lillard.
Monica Potter, really?
Yeah,
because didn't another one come out in the same year called Prefontaine, but
Yes,
Without Limits was much better.
Prefontaine. I tried to watch it one time. It stars Jared Leto in the same role.
Yeah,
and
it's
I
not
think
as good.
it was more of like shot in a not mockumentary, but sort of some of it's documentary footage and some of it's actual. And this is just a straight up narrative film.
Yeah, I definitely like Without Limits better. That's for sure.
Another one I got to watch.
Yes.
Well, my number 3, I know everybody has watched at least once, from 1984, and the fact that it spawned a television show that's running now for 3 seasons. 1984 is The Karate Kid.
How did that slip my mind too? Like, come on, like
I don't know. Something in me said I couldn't include that as a sports movie. I don't know why. Don't ask me to explain it. Just my brain would not let me include it in this list.
You say the end is literally in a sports arena.
I know. I know. I'm not arguing that part. It's just for some reason my brain would not let me include it on this list.
All right. Then did Daniel LaRusso with an illegal kick?
It's not
God,
illegal kick.
I love that debate because in Cobra Kai they actually played the clip as a flashback when Allie is telling him the rules, and she says you can't kick the face. You can't.
I'm pretty sure they say that. I'm pretty sure they say you can.
But they played the clip.
See,
we're gonna have to go back and record some moments of that.
Okay, on to number 2, Ry.
Okay, so this has been mentioned twice already. And I'm like looking at my honorable mentions that I had on the list here, and I'm like, should I sub one in that I wanted? Like, I really wanted to get Youngblood in there with Patrick Swayze and Rob Lowe, the hockey. Such a great movie. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, but it's classic 80s.
Years ago.
Yeah,
It's
classic 80s, and it's super. It's kind of cheesy, but it's all about him trying to be tough. He gets transferred to anyway. I had Rocky there. I mean,
okay. Well, yeah, let's go with your list.
I feel the same way though. I'm like the whole Rocky series. I could literally drop in there too. But the first one is same director as Karate Kid too.
Oh yeah,
John G. Ableton. Yeah. But I'll stick with Rocky just because I mean I got to give some Stallone love on my list because he's Rocky.
It's not technically on the list. I'm Rocky 3, and he's everything.
Okay, well I'll stick with the first one then.
There
we go. Let me see here, Jason.
All right. So as I said, again, we're going to be getting into. Oh, what happened?
What?
Rob, are you still there? I think we lost Rob.
Rob is frozen. Rob!
Wait, no.
Give me 1 second here.
How is he the one freezing? He controls our lives.
Good question.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that he'd be able to freeze without us blacking out or something.
Oh, he's back.
There we go.
No idea what happened there.
The world hasn't ended.
That's the craziest thing. I'm hardwired into my internet. I got nothing. I got no.
Must have been the Rocky 2 fans out there, or like.
Okay, I did not say my number 2 because I could tell you'd frozen, so I paused. Okay, my number 2. Again, this is going to show what my number 1 hockey movie would be, but I have to go with the new generation slap shot, 2011's Goon.
Great film.
Nice.
The vibe of Goon and the vibe of Slapshot, I swear, it's a reincarnation almost.
Yeah,
I absolutely love Goon. I love the sequel almost as much. It's one notch down. It's just it's brutal with the fight scenes. It's got the touching little love story in there. Jay Baruchel just is ridiculously funny.
It's up there. I was debating. It was on my list for a minute, and then it's definitely in my. And I have the second one I love too. But it's one of those rare movies that like the violence is so palpable that it's like it makes you cringe, like because it's not a horror, it's not a boxing film. It's literally, but when those hits land, you're just like, oh, I feel that.
I still cringe every time over this what happens to his ankle.
Yeah.
I can right now picturing it. It's giving me chills.
Yeah, I totally agree with that being on the list. Great film.
Great Kim Coates stuff in there.
Oh
too.
yes. Especially when they're in the bar after they won and he's drunk and you're all right, eh?
And Leif Schreiber's great in that too. I mean,
yep.
He does a great accent in that too.
All right, James, number 2.
All right, my number 2 is from 2002, and it's probably to this day the only movie that's been made about curling. It is Paul Gross's Men with Brooms.
Classic.
Always
Classic
heard
Canadian.
so much about that. Never got around to watching it.
It's really good.
Oh,
it is.
It's fun. Leslie Nielsen,
Yes.
right?
Leslie Nielsen's in there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Damn.
And
It's
the Tragically
really
Hip. Tragically Hip cameo. As they represent Kingston.
Were they just trying to see how much Canadiana they could throw into this movie?
I don't know. It's possible because they're just going around introducing all the teams at it's the Briar Cup, but they call it the Golden Broom, just like in representing Kingston, the Tragically Hip, and it's the Tragically Hip there.
You got to give it a watch.
Next, you're going to tell me it was directed by a Canadian goose.
No. Paul Gross.
Gross goose.
Oh.
A Canadian gross.
Have you ever seen him side by side with a Canada goose? Aha.
Okay, my number 2 we've already talked about. 2005's The Longest Yard. Gotta love it. So that leaves us with number 1. Ry, what is your number 1?
Okay, so my number 1, I don't know if I consider it number 1 just because it's obviously from my list you can tell I like a lot of older stuff. This one I never hear people talk about that often though, so I don't know like if a lot of people know of it or have seen it or whatever, but it's like you should, because it's or should check it out, find it if you can. It's directed by Robert Wise, who did The Haunting, West Side Story, The Sound of. He's done a ton of stuff. This one's called The Setup, and it's about a boxer who's supposed to lose a match, but he doesn't know this because his promoter has made a deal with a gangster who thinks he's going to lose, but he hasn't told his boxer that he's supposed to lose. And so the second the movie starts shooting, it starts on a clock, and the movie only runs, I think, 77 minutes, but it's in real time. And this was shot in 1949. So, like, when you consider, so when they go from locker room to, it all takes place basically at the ring, and kind of all the stuff that happens around the boxing match and leading up to the boxing match. And you kind of see how it all gets put together. And meanwhile, you're watching the clock. I keep showing the clock because, like, they wanted to remind you, this is literally happening in the amount of time. I think they say you have 1 hour until the match, and like all this stuff has to come together. So the acting, like it's amazing in it. It's Robert Ryan, done a lot of Westerns and like another classic actor, but just check it out if you haven't gotten to see it, because it's one for the books for sure. And too many people I mentioned it to, and they just never heard of it before.
No, I've never
Put
seen
me on that list.
Yeah, it's so I got here. I grabbed it. If you see it anywhere in like a secondhand store or something like that, grab it.
it. It's got a classic 40s
The
poster
setup.
too.
Yeah.
All right. Wow, 1949, really?
Yeah, it's wild how like
Was it actually shot in real time? Like,
I don't think they didn't shoot it in real time, but like
Okay.
the time setup of how everything comes into place, they kind of show you the time, and it's literally so an hour into the movie is when is supposed to be an hour from when it started when they get told the match is going to happen and all that kind of stuff. So it literally, yeah,
Okay.
you'll have to watch it to see what I mean, but it's literally the characters and the way that it's edited is like in the time of the actual film.
okay.
I love real-time films like that.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And
Definitely,
like,
definitely brings a whole different type of intensity, right? Because
Yeah.
you got literally have a counting clock.
exactly. And it moves so quickly too. Like it's an hour and 17 minutes. So like you're with it. Like the whole time, just kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. And it just keeps amping up and amping up. And then the fight begins and you're like, oh shit.
Now I
Yeah.
know this. All right, I'm going to try and find that one tonight.
Let me know
Jason.
what you think.
Yeah, absolutely. Jason, what's your number one?
All right, my number one, and like I said, it's my number one baseball movie. It is my number one sports movie of all sports movies. It is my favorite Kevin Costner movie, Bull Durham.
Yes.
There you go. I knew it had to be, one or the other, right?
Mm-hmm. Like, God, I just love every single second of that movie. There's nothing I don't like. All the actors are great. All the characters are fun. Susan Sarandon is so sexy and hot, but also so witty and her knowledge of baseball is so deep. And Tim Robbins, like, come on.
Oh yeah. That's another great one. I love, and it's like unapologetically foul mouth and funny and like it's snappy, man. The dialogue in that is so good.
Mm-hmm. Just
That would have made my list if I watched it more. I do watch it, but not as often as I probably should.
that's right. Yes, you should.
I'm due for a rewatch on that one too.
James, what's your number one?
My number one is another Ron Howard movie, where Men with Brooms was the movie that made me care about curling for a couple hours. This one made me care about Formula One racing for a couple hours. It is 2013's Rush.
Yes.
That's a good one. Daniel Bruhl in that, right?
Daniel Bruhl and Chris Hemsworth. Yes.
Yep. That was actually the first movie I saw at TIFF. First time
Oh, yeah?
I was gonna say that's the one you went to see that you saw at TIFF, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was there for the red carpet. Ron Howard came out.
Nice.
Hemsworth, It was very interesting. But it was interesting because I like that movie. Rush was good. The other one that I saw called Around the Block with Christina Ricci, I liked more.
I don't know what that is.
It's an Australian film.
Oh.
It's good. It's really
I haven't heard of that. I'll write that one down though.
I saw this in a double feature as well, and the first movie I saw was Gravity, and I'm like, wow, this is probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And then I saw Rush, and it redeemed my whole night.
I didn't like Gravity.
No, I railed against Gravity for a few years. It's terrible.
And I got nothing.
I have no opinion. I've never watched Gravity, so
I wish I would have seen Rush in theaters. That it seems like one of those movies that would have been great in theaters, like
Yes.
sound
Yes.
design and everything.
I got to admit, that's why I liked it. The sound design. You get the rumble, you get everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I kind of caught it after the fact because it was one of those years I think that just so much had come out, and I love those actors are great and Ron Howard's amazing, and I think for some reason it wasn't high on my list, but then when I finally watched it, I was like, oh, I should have known this was going to be great. And
well, it's one of those things for me where based on reality, it makes me dig into the story, and I learned a lot about both of those people.
And had I not been intrigued by one of the trailers I had seen, I may not have watched it at all. but it was like, this actually looks really good. The concept didn't sound that interesting.
Well, Ryan says my number one, because I'm a football fanatic, is Any Given Sunday. The best football.
Nice.
Players
That's a
even
good
say
one.
it could be documentary.
I was gonna say like that. If you're looking at like Draft Day and Moneyball, like Any Given Sunday is another great film that shows like the interworkings of all levels, kind of behind the team.
Yeah. Well, my number one, sorry, Jason, is the best baseball movie ever. And I watched this thing religiously. Watched it even more so because Christina and I started watching 24. So you have President David Palmer, very regal, but yet here he is on the baseball field as Serrano, the voodoo-loving guy. Straight ball. Major League from 1989.
Willie Mays Hayes.
I can't
Wild
dispute
man.
that. Major League is definitely it's in my list for baseball movies, but it didn't crack the top 3, so it's not here. It's weird though that this is the second Major League reference, like because I had one of my coworkers randomly threw out "fuck you, Jobu"
Yep.
the other day. I'm like, did you really just pull a Major League reference out of nowhere?
Yep.
Yeah,
See,
it's a classic.
That would be another cast to look at. Charles Grodin, Charlie Sheen, Dennis Haysbert,
Bobby Euchre.
Bob Uecker. Like, it's got Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes.
Oh,
It's madness.
who's like the lead guy? Tom
Berenger.
Berenger.
And Renee
Renee
I was
Russo
gonna say,
again.
I was gonna say Charlie Sheen, but
Charlie's in
Technically,
that.
I think Tom Berenger kind of is the lead in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom's the lead, and because Charlie wasn't that big of an actor at that point. Like, he was just coming up.
Yeah.
I think, Platoon was out already.
Think
Yeah,
so.
he probably would have been like the younger guy coming up to
Mm-hmm.
to be like the younger teenage, the teen, or he wasn't really a teenager at that time anymore, but like he was kind of coming from the younger crowd, and then
there's no need
But
to bring
yeah.
Platoon into this.
Hey, Platoon is awesome.
yeah,
I will
No.
mute you, man. I will mute you, Mike. Awesome.
they should have had Willem Dafoe been in Major League too. Like that missed opportunity, right?
Right? Whole thing over again. That would have been awesome. Well, man, thank
Classic.
you.
Though. I love. I actually loved it. I know the sequel's a bit of a mess, but I actually loved it too.
Did you know
I liked it a lot. I liked number 2 a lot too.
there's a third one?
Back
Really?
to the Miners. Yeah, I never watched that one. That one had Scott Bakula.
Yeah, I haven't seen the third one, and I like Scott Bakula. I mean, Unnecessary Roughness is pretty high up there too. For
If we ever do football movies, that's going to be on my football movie list for
yeah,
sure.
that'd be on mine too. Yeah.
And I'm a Quantum Leap junkie, right? I love him in that. So, anyway, Ryan,
I got 3 movies on my honorable mention that haven't come up yet that I just want to throw real quick.
fire away.
1992's Digstown.
Oh yeah.
Louis Gossett Jr. and James Woods. Love that movie. Days of Thunder. You want to talk about Rumble?
Yeah.
They really got the Rumble from those races and whatnot.
Yeah, they did.
And then now questionable to call it a sport, but technically yes, A Knight's Tale.
Yeah.
Jousting.
The
Oh.
jousting and whatnot.
Hey,
Would've-
I'll
that
take
would've-
it.
Oh,
A Knight's Tale is another one that I do revisit fairly regularly, so I had to get it in here somewhere, but it didn't crack the top 10, so honorable mentions it goes.
I didn't even think. I watched that religiously. I love that film.
Nice.
That was my first. No, I was gonna say my first introduction to Alan Tudyk, but actually I saw 28 Days before that, so it's my second introduction to Alan Tudyk.
But a beautiful introduction to Paul Bettany.
And another.
Yes,
What an epic
Absolutely.
cast too, right? Like you look
Yes.
at that cast across the board, and you're just like, holy shit! Like
yeah,
Yep.
it's
Oh man.
amazing.
but yeah,
I got three. I got 3 quick ones as well.
Sure.
Fire away.
Very quick. Over from the baseball list, I got $1 Million Arm.
Yeah.
I have McFarlane USA, another great true story with Kevin Costner in there about like going down to a high school on the border of Mexico and Texas, I think, and like rebuilding a track team.
Oh, cool! I haven't heard of that one.
And well, it in Canada, I think it's just called McFarlane. In the U.S., it's called McFarlane USA.
I've heard. I don't think I've seen it, but I've heard of it.
Wouldn't you need
And-
to say in Canada? McFarlane in the U.S. They already know where it is.
I know. And my other one would be Gold, The Dream Begins.
I have not heard of any of those.
Gold,
I've
The
heard
Dream
of-
Begins is one with what's his name? He stars as a kid from Mexico who goes across the border and does odd jobs and also plays in soccer games and gets spotted by a scout from the UK, and he gets brought over for a tryout with Chelsea United and gets on the team there. And then they made 2 more sequels to it, but they're not as good as the first one. But it does have a cameo in one of the bars in the UK by Brian Johnson from AC/DC as one of the guys sitting at the bars talking about the TV and stuff.
Wicked.
I think I haven't seen that, but I know what you're talking about. It. I've heard it's good too.
Yeah.
I got a whole crap of films I got to watch now. You know, and everybody out there has a film they have to watch. Still the Water.
Seen it.
Yes.
Yeah, right on the bottom. VOD on Amazon, Bell, Rogers, iTunes, and Vimeo on demand. You can check out Ry in Still the Water with Colin. Colin did a great interview here a couple months ago.
Yeah, Colin's a great guy, and he's amazing in the film too. It's definitely a great highlight for him to show his talent. He's a good guy.
You guys get to play brothers.
Yeah. Not the best of buddies in the beginning, but we'll see where it goes.
That's the fun of family, though, right?
It is.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Ry. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes,
Thank
thanks
you
for having me, guys. It's fun. Let's
Thank you, sir.
let's do it again. When you guys do the Hulk Hogan one, let me know.
Great that one for you. Excellent. Well, in that case, for another week at the Movie Madhouse, I'm Rob.
I'm James.
I'm Jason.
And Ry.
We'll see y'all later.
Bye.
Cheers.
Toodles.
Shut up! It's a man!